Welcome to the annual Columbus Day wreath-laying ceremony commemorating the 91st anniversary of our beloved Columbus Monument.
Also in attendance, former Republican Onondaga County Executive Nick Pirro, who also served 10 terms as a county legislator, becoming its chairman in 1980. And then in 1987, he won a closely fought Republican primary for county executive versus James Walsh. And ended up serving 5 terms in office. But Nick was not the only Pirro family member in politics. His father, Nicholas Pirro Sr., was a funeral director by trade.
My father was a businessman, but he also got into politics. He was an alderman, he was a city councilman, he was on the board of supervisors, and then he was county treasurer for 9 years. This is from the early 1930s through mid-40s. So he was overlooking the finances of the county, and I learned a lot from that. Well-known and the leader of the North Side, so to speak.
The father and son share a legacy of public service, as well as another kind of bond, a monumental one.
As we gather here today, our hearts are filled with gratitude for the tremendous contributions of the many Italians who have come to this country, not only to build a better life for themselves, but to build a better America.
Big Nick Pirro was also very involved in bringing a Columbus monument to Syracuse, but long before his participation. Back in 1910, Syracuse University professor Torquato De Felice visited Florence sculptor Renzo Baldi to discuss the project. The sculptor even molded a small model De Felice brought back to Syracuse to aid in fundraising. And there were even plans to build a Columbus monument at the intersection of Lodi, Oak, and Burnett.
Well, World War I came, everything got held up.
Dateline, Syracuse, New York, October 12, 1934. From across the salty sea to the salt city, Christopher Columbus' new port of call is central New York. While a crowd of 5,000 citizens jam St. Mary's Circle to witness the ancient mariner's unveiling. As all hail Columbus!
It was a moment in time. A moment of circumstances, and a moment for ethnic pride.
We all know the stories of how when they first started coming, there were signs up.
They were rejected, ridiculed, and in the crosshairs of xenophobic disdain.
But they fought through all that. We didn't let it hold us back. We didn't gripe about it. We just went out and proved ourselves.
And nothing was holding Nick Pirro back when in 1927 he joined with others, forming the Columbus Monument Association.
And they got the idea to have a statue made of Columbus because he found the New World, and this is how they got here.
The committee declared in the mission statement that the monument would be a symbol of achievement.
And they started bringing people together and deciding they, raise money.
It was going to be a tough task raising the money. But they were tougher than the task. They were Northside tough.
My father was one of the fundraisers. They had like a military organization. They had a person at the top, and then they had generals, and then they had captains. And he was one of the generals. They were responsible to raise so much money.
Every cent was critical, even pennies, donated by children in the public and parochial schools. In 1 week of May 1929, 300 volunteers hit the streets, knocking on doors and collecting donations. The pitch was simple: something for everybody, it's done, and you did your share. And boy did they, with each division surpassing their quota of $1,000.
When you look at the fundraising, where people gave a nickel or a dime in some cases, one person took a loan out for a quarter so he could donate. They weren't a lot of rich people. They were just people that scraped together their nickels and dimes and a few dollars here and there. And so, you know, that's the way the funds were raised.
With the funds secured, the association reconnected with Renzo Baldi to build the sculpture. Once the monument had some meat on its bones, it would stand 12 feet tall and weigh approximately 3,000 pounds. Back in Syracuse, there was much discussion where to put the man from 1492. Should he replace the Hamilton White Memorial in Fayette Park, or stand across from the soon-to-be-erected New York Central Railroad Station? What about over on the west side, by Onondaga Park? And on the east side, Columbus Park. And someone even proposed locating Columbus by the public restrooms in Hanover Square. Meanwhile, at City Hall, Mayor Roland Marvin grew tired of all the debate.
Mayor Marvin decided that this was the best site. With the cathedral and the courthouse, it was a perfect site in his mind for this beautiful plaza.
The plaza was originally named St. Mary's Circle. Before Columbus moved into the neighborhood, it was the yearly home of the city Christmas tree.
And you got to remember, it's not just a statue. It's a beautiful plaza designed by Baum and Renzo Baldi.
Baum was architect Dwight James Baum, a graduate of the Syracuse University School of Architecture, who also designed the university's Hendricks Chapel and Maxwell School of Citizenship. Baum filled the monument's pedestal and pool with symbolism depicting Columbus's love of exploration. The obelisk is decorated on each side by the prows of ancient ships. There are depictions of marine life. And in the pool, the 4 points of a compass can be found. The monument also incorporates pink granite imported from Italy.
To really recreate here in Syracuse what we would see in many of the Italian cities.
Take a picture of this. October 12th, 1932, a dedication ceremony for the Columbus Monument in St. Mary's Circle. Amidst the pomp and circumstance, there's an announcement that the Columbus Monument will be unveiled in 1 year. Well, maybe not. We're in the middle of the Great Depression. The country has left the gold standard. The US dollar has been devalued. And so is your account. So now the association must reconvene and reconfigure. Baldi and Baum must be paid. The invoices are piling up, and there are still many expenses, like the cost of shipping 150 tons of granite from Italy.
Joe Pietrafesa of Learbury Close came in and took over the association, raised the rest of the money to make it up.
Pietrafesa knew there was more than one way to build a monument.
They had dinners and fundraisers and all kinds of different ways to raise money.
Profits from a bowling tournament were added to the association's coffers, as well as the gate from a boxing exhibition featuring heavyweight contender Primo Carnera. The re-energized campaign was a knockout. Mayor Raleigh Marvin played a big hand in making Columbus's arrival an inclusive community event.
He formed a committee of over, I think it was 75 to 100 prominent Syracuse people of all names and ethnic groups to be the committee, honorary committee for this. And of course, in 1934, they did the dedication of the statue.
When Columbus came to Syracuse, he was big news. The reporters praised his determination, and their papers beat the drums of the legend-making machine. Ah, you should have seen him on that autumn day, when the bloom was still on the big man, all buffed out in bronze and rocking that pedestal. And I tell you this, he had the whole town in his hands. Breaking news, this just in. A late, unexpected guest to the festivities was sculptor Renzo Baldi, who stated that Columbus was his greatest work. The artist then took his place on the reviewing stand with two special guests from the Onondaga Nation, Chiefs William Farmer and Andrew Lewis.
The people then knew that the Onondagas were a big part of this community and that they should be involved, and they were very proud to be. Following the dedication, they took Renzo Baldi, the sculptor, to the nation and made him an honorary chief of the Onondaga Nation.
At the conclusion of the ceremony, Chief Lyons performed a tribal dance with Baldi in the center of the circle.
And then in '92, for the quincentennial, Chief Irving Powless Jr. was on the committee for putting together the celebration. So the Onondaga Nation has been involved since day one, been very supportive.
In recent years, Columbus monuments have become a nationwide flashpoint of controversy. Protesters have also brought their complaints to Syracuse, where community activists and Native American advocates want the statue removed, accusing Columbus of the genocide of indigenous people. And the Black Lives Matter movement wants Columbus evicted too, claiming it symbolizes an historical figure associated with slavery and colonization. But the Columbus Monument Corporation has remained steadfast in their beliefs.
There's just no way that some activists now should want that taken down and destroy the heritage that the Italian people gave to this city. I think it's important to know that a community came together with everybody contributing one way or another to do something as a thank you to Syracuse for allowing them to come here, make it their home, start their businesses, raise their families, and they were very, very grateful.
Nick Piro, preservation of the Columbus Monument is personal. Very personal.
You know, and he was in his early 30s at the time, and he was very involved in doing that. It's a bill for the construction company. Telegram from Italy, from Baldi the sculptor. When I look at all the documents and I look at the way they worked to raise this compared to what we do today, it's a real dedication to heritage. It's a dedication to community, to the Columbus Monument Campaign Committee. The generals are all listed there. My father, Michael Ferranti, Tony Malika, Anthony Mondo, Joseph DeSenza, Anthony Spazzato, Frank Tartaglia, Dominic Falcone, John Urcioli, Robert Bersani. And I'm very proud of him for what he did.